Hi, I'm CJ Elmberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Fredrick, Colorado. We have got a custom build 2-horse gooseneck sitting behind us here. This is a 2026 Cimarron Norstar. Again, 2-horse gooseneck. This was a custom build for a customer, but we always want to show you these just to show you some of the options, some of the setups that us in collaboration with Cimarron, when they build a product, what we can finish up with. So this customer specifically wanted a 2-horse gooseneck as small as possible. So let's go ahead and take a look at the drawing. I'll show you some specs just to tell you what we're working with here. 13 foot on the floor. So very, very smaller, small trailer, really easy to get in and out of about most places. The floor length on this guy is actually going to be pretty dang similar to what like our 2-horse bumper pulls will be, with obviously without the nose on them, and we actually have a gooseneck on this. So on the other dimensions, we're talking 6'10 wide, 7'1 tall. So those are our standard, widths and heights on this trailer. But again, he really wanted it compact and really small. So up at the front, nothing too crazy. We have the polished stainless sheet. I think it really dresses up trailers, really easy to clean. B&W coupler, gooseneck coupler. Obviously that we're not even gonna get close to what this is rated at, which is 25,000 pounds. But he's got a lot of flexibility with this B&W, with this version here that B&W has come up with over the last few years. That's, again, collaboration with us and Cimarron and B&W and customer feedback on developing and designing this coupler with the lower profile handle with an additional hole drilled into it. Again, with this size trailer, not a big deal, but when we get into our larger trailers, it does make a big difference, just having that flexibility to slide that where we want it. Underneath the gooseneck, nothing too crazy. We have a manual crank jack, spare tire located to the left of that, but there is some bracing and framing here. This is standard, even though we don't have anything right here. But if this customer ever wanted to upgrade to a hydraulic jack, this part of it's already here. This is where that aluminum battery box is going to go. So by having these pieces there, again, they've made it a standard feature, but boy does it make a big difference on cost when you go to install that by already having all of that there. Over here is going to be where our crank handle is going to store, so it stores out of the way. This is a really popular feature right here. They came up with this a couple years ago. It's just a plastic insert for our 7-pin. So our 7-pin, like the actual plug, isn't just dangling around. It actually has somewhere to store and secure. There's a hook right up here that the cord can loop on. But we've had a number of customers actually add this to their current trailer, even if it's a different brand. They love it. They say, man, that is great. Can I get one of those? And yeah, it's a really good and easy piece to go ahead and add. A Cimarron nose is 8'2 long, so a little bit longer. Gives us a little bit more flexibility, especially with long boxes. When we drop tailgates on long boxes, a lot of other manufacturers, that tailgate will be really close to that spare tire, even bumping it even, especially if the truck's off a little bit. But with this 8'2", when you drop a long box tailgate, you can still walk through there. It's really nice to have that flexibility to get in between the trailer and the truck itself. Now, with it being compact, you're gonna have a compact, smaller front tack room. This one here is gonna be a 2-foot short wall, and Cimarron's run a 4-foot offset. So that's a 2-foot short wall, and then a 6-foot over here on this side. On the tack door, he opted for a couple brush trays. Those are fantastic to have. They're a great catch-all for items. You throw your fly sprays, any type of, hoof picks and brushes and combs, whatever you need to, you can toss in there. It's amazing what some of those end up collecting at times. One of our salespeople the other day, she just did a video of her own Cimarron in the brush tray, and I joked with her that, hey, it's kind of like a clown car. The stuff that was coming out of it never stopped, it seemed like, and just the randomness of the items coming out of it. But it is nice to have those, because we're always going to have items that we need to just throw somewhere, and it's nice to have those. Fold up step on this guy. So we really like putting fold up steps on our tack rooms, just because of, if you look at ground level to this bottom door frame, that is a healthy step. And why not make it so much easier just transitioning in and out, whether you're hauling saddles, any other type of tack, maybe you're just storing some items in here, a cooler, totes, those type of items. Why make that big, step? You always have a running board on the standard width trailers, but you know, again, even on all of our inventory, we prefer to have this fold up step rather than that. Again, coming in the tack room, 2-foot short wall. On the partition wall, you're gonna have some hooks. These are aluminum powder coated, and then carpet behind them. So it'll protect items from actually shifting and moving while you're in transit. A lot of times, you know, you're gonna end up with this aluminum sheeting that's behind here, and it's gonna scuff that up. You're gonna get marks in the wall, so this carpet really protects it. And you have to think there's horses on the other side of this, and that's gonna make noise as you're traveling, so this is gonna, you know, deaden the noise on that as well. Carpet on the gooseneck deck and drop wall. Gets up into the nose. You've got 2 windows up there, so it's fantastic from the standpoint of, one, just getting ventilation in here, but if you're gonna throw like a mattress or a bedroll, a sleeping bag in there, gonna spend a night in here, it's nice to be able to see out. You open up those windows, get that cross breeze through here. Makes a big difference there. Clothes bar over here on the left-hand side of it, so if you have some hanging clothes, they don't necessarily have to take up space in the back of the pickup. You can hang them right in here. You need to hop in, change into a shirt of some sort, you know, if you're at an event or show, you've got that capability. And then you're gonna have an LED light right above the door. So we have an LED light in here. It's a big OptiBright light, so it puts out a ton of light, not a big power draw, fantastic light there. And it really, again, based on the size of this, you know, not a, you know, one light's gonna do everything. Switch right as you come in, into the tack right there at the door. And then the last piece is gonna be, it's framed for an air conditioner. So just like I was showing you the framework for a battery box, if you wanted to go with a hydraulic jack, if you wanted to add even a camper style manual crank vent, a 12 volt, you know, vent, or an air conditioner, obviously we're having to figure out power on those. But again, that framework's there, so it does, again, save a lot of time and hassle when we are going to add those type of items after the fact, by having those pieces already set as standard options when they build the trailer itself. There's going to be a 16-inch awning light splitting those 2 windows right there in the stall area, so it shoots down and out. It's not a pedestal light that protrudes off the trailer. You know, those pedestal lights can get knocked off by tree branches, you know, things that are low. So I like these a lot better. 2 bus windows on the hip side. Cimarron really tries to maximize the size of the windows as much as possible, because on a bus window only half of them opens. That slider is only halfway. So trying to get as big of a window as we can. For instance, some competitors will run this window that's in the tack door back there, so you can see a big difference in just the sheer size of them. You got some tie rings out here, 2 per side, since it's a 2-horse. And then there's their extrusion down low, so it's not just aluminum sheeting, a lot stouter, you know, gives a lot more strength to the trailer by having that. Axles on this guy, it's 2 3,500 pound Dexter rubber torsion axles, 16-inch aluminum wheels, and then Goodyear 10-ply tires. So electric brakes on it as well. So tow vehicle will have to have an electric brake controller, whether it's integrated or an aftermarket. If you need aftermarket, we can help you there. A lot of the items that we're talking about, our parts and service department can help you with. You know, if you need that for a braking system, we can help you there. You know, the air conditioner, the hydraulic jack, if you want a hay rack, a rear ramp, that rubber bumper that we're going to look at here at the back, that rubber bumper would remove, and we would weld that ramp over on the back. So we'd shut these back doors and the ramp would go over the back. As you can see, based on it being a standard 610 wide, we have a wider door on the right hand side, narrower door on the left hand side. The left hand door for this folding rear tack that we'll show you here in a minute, as you can see, we've got another set of bridle hooks there, kick mat behind it, so same concept as that carpet up front, protecting that aluminum and also your tack, and then a couple brush trays back here as well. So again, same thing, just like we saw on the other tack door, you've got those back here at the rear tack to throw items in. Folding rear tack, so if I wanted to, this could collapse down. This post can remove. There was hardware in the floor and the ceiling in that front tack back over by that 2-foot short wall. So we could undo this post, remove it from back here, take it up front and put it up front. You could use this as additional storage, maybe throw some hay, some bedding, whatever you need to there, or it will collapse down and go over here against the wall. It can be completely removed if you want. You can unpin it and get it out of the way, or again, you can just fold it out of the way there. 2 blanket poles, 2 saddle racks, carpeted saddle racks. These are all adjustable as well. So if I wanted to change sequencing, if I wanted to add another saddle rack, another blanket pole, I can do that. All you have to do is just loosen those nuts, slide them at the insert there where I want, and then tighten them up, and you're ready to use the trailer. So definitely a nice feature there, and especially the flexibility to be able to move it to the front tack room if need be. Butt bar that goes over to that folding rear tack. Sets down out of the way. Then we've got a telescoping divider, airflow with pads. So the airflow divider here is gonna, bring a lot of air movement through here rather than it being a solid. Airflow is a big key. Like I showed you the bus windows, I'll show you the drop windows on the head side. But as you can see, we've got these guys, they've got some gel bars protecting them as well. But in this instance here, definitely a nice feature. And then this is a redesign here. This is a nice feature and something that was done. Moving this pin forward. This pin used to be back here, so it wasn't protected by a bar or anything. So, just in some conversations, hey, let's redesign that. Let's, protect horses a little bit more if something happens. It's not out here, as you can see now by having this tube and it's set in this little triangle right here. It's going to protect it from horses actually maybe getting on top of it. I mean, stranger things have happened, but again, telescopes down out of the way, and then again extends, locks into place, and then you have a slam latch back here. So Cimarron tries to design everything, we have to think about how we're using the trailer. Loading, unloading horses, one-handed operation. Having a lead rope in a hand, being able to open this guy, close it. You have that capability to be able to, again, utilize the trailer and use it without making it a difficult process. This is a cast aluminum piece that's powder coated, and then this paddle latch itself is a heavy UHMW plastic. This is the same hardware they use in the floor and then the ceiling for like those saddle racks I showed you. So what's fantastic about this is now it doesn't have metal to metal contact, creating a lot of rattle as you're actually driving the trailer itself. And again, so easy to operate by having those. This guy's also got a spring, so as you can see, it's wanting to pull it towards this driver's side, and this trailer's tipped towards passenger side, so those springs are really strong. Again, it's trying to keep it out of the way. Again, one-handed operation, but also just be safe for you and the horses loading and unloading. You're not having to fight the divider, holding it open as you're trying to lead somebody in or get somebody off the trailer itself. Kick mat all the way around, head side on the partition wall, and then on the kick mat here at the back side as well. Opto-Bright light, another one back here. This and those load lights are all on individual switches, so I'll show you more of those load lights, but I can specifically turn on the stall lights, load light on right hand side, load light on left hand side, and then the rear as well. Two-way roof vents up here at the ceiling, so we can create that airflow and keep that air moving. We can manipulate it. Sometimes you can even shut these down, open them up even more. It just kind of depends. Sometimes you need to manipulate how much airflow is really going on these guys, but at least you have that option. If you don't, that's where it gets, not as comfortable for the horses. The other thing is this roof. So what is fantastic about this is the standard roof on every single Cimarron. So it doesn't matter if it's a bumper pole, this small 2-horse, a big trainer trailer, a big LQ, whatever it is, they're all going to have this roof. And it's an insulated roof, and it makes this stall area 20% cooler than aluminum sheeted roofs. That is a big difference. Again, airflow, trying to keep animals comfortable, that roof does the job. What's also cool about it is it's really strong. It's a 1/2 inch thick honeycomb design. It'll take 150 pounds per square foot. So I can walk on this roof. I don't have to find these roof bows when I'm walking on it. I can walk anywhere I want. So it'll take substantial hail, so it protects your investment more. We see it time and time again, aluminum sheeted roofs, Unfortunate situations where you get nailed by hail and it just basically is almost ruined the roof. I mean, one, it's an eyesore. We've seen some of them where it actually causes, you know, leaks because maybe it did something with the sealant. But in this instance here, this will take substantial hail. So again, it's standard on every Cimarron. Makes a big difference. It has an R3 thermal value and a gel coating on top. So again, keeping this area in your horses nice and cool. When we flip to the other side of the trailer, let's talk about the floor. So standard would be a rubber mat. This customer opted for worm flooring. Fantastic upgrade. If you're going to do it, it's a lot cheaper to do it at the beginning because, you know, it's cheaper per square foot when the floor is brand new. You don't have to do any prep work or anything like that, cleaning it. In order to install worm, you can always do it after the fact, but it will cost you a little bit more. But these are fantastic because we don't have to pull mats out of this guy ever. It's permanent, it's unpenetrable, gives good cushion for the horses, but you can muck it out and power wash it out, and just a lot simpler. On the bottom side is the Cimarron's floor. When you have a Cimarron floor, you have the industry's best floor. It's a 12-inch extruded deck piece that locks in 4-inch centers with a V-truss in the middle. I know I just threw a whole bunch of stuff out there. The easiest way to explain it is whenever you have a horse standing on a Cimarron floor, they're standing on 1, if not 2 support beams. So that floor is going to hold up over time. If you want to see quality of an all aluminum floor, look underneath the trailer. You'll notice those, you know, centers start to spread apart on your cheaper made trailers, and they're just not going to hold up near as well. These are independent doors, so you know, you can shut one ahead of the other if you want. You can open them the opposite direction. It doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about the post, anything like that. And then also all these doors, tack door, drop down feed doors that I'll show you here in a minute, and these rear doors, they all have the exact same key. So it's just one key to open and lock everything up. But again, get those out of the way. Up top, you have an 8-inch awning light. So again, there's that rear load light there. And then on this one, tail lights on this guy. Pay attention to that white X. That is a backup light. So when you throw your tow vehicle in reverse, your backup light comes on. Not as big of a deal on this trailer. Again, it's 13 foot on the floor. So our tow vehicle you will be able to utilize that backup light a little bit, but still that gooseneck's gonna block it. So it is nice to have that. I've never heard a customer complain about having too many lights on their trailer. You know, whether it's interior lights, load lights, marker lights, those type of items, just because it is so dang nice to see what you're doing. You're gonna get in unfamiliar places. You're gonna be getting home at night. You need to be able to see, and you can't. I mean, you can throw your tow vehicle in reverse and all these guys here will light up. Speaking of lights, over here on the driver's side, there's another 16-inch awning light up there on the top rail. So again, one on each side, one at the rear, and then those interiors. So those switches are at the back, again, all on individuals. So airflow, we talked about that. Here's a look at what we were looking at on the inside there as far as those drop down feed doors. You have jail bars. It's built into a track in there, so we can easily lift them. You find that sweet spot and you can drop them down, offer some feed, offer some water, whatever you need to there. Again, easily lift up and then go ahead and shut them. They've got bus windows within them as well. So again, if we need to manipulate airflow, cut down on some, we can shut these up and then just utilize the bus windows if need be. But look at the mass. This is all framework. From the edge of this to that window, that's all framework on these feed doors. So they are heavy. They've got weight to them, but they're gonna hold up. They also have welded hinges with grease zerks, so easier for you to maintain. So if you get a stiff hinge, squeaky hinge, you can actually put grease to it and actually maintain it a lot easier than just a standard weld where it's really hard to get lubricant in there. They've even taken it a step further. You see this brass ring right here? It's connected to a rod that goes throughout this whole actual hinge, and it's got a groove cut into it. We'll picture a candy cane. So that groove, that swirl goes all the way through, and so when you put grease to it and you open and close this, it wants to actually feed the grease, you know, throughout the entire hinge itself. So I think that about covers it on this guy. Again, unfortunately, this one here is sold, but it just goes to show that, you know, I like to use the term on a Cimarron that they're like a fingerprint. I mean, you can make them how it works for you. So if you have some time and you want us to build you a trailer, we can. Obviously, we've got a lot of inventory here. We can even, you know, customize it a little bit with some parts after the fact, but I'll give you the stock number on this guy so you can reference it. Again, it's a 2026 Cimarron Norstar 2-horse gooseneck, stock number 5N250290. So again, we can help you with the build, look at what we have on hand, and then what we have coming in as well. But we do take trade-in, so if you're looking to upgrade or downsize, we can help you there. Delivery is an option, so we could potentially bring it to your doorstep, and financing is available. So give us a call. Anybody on the sales team can help you out. That number is 303-684-3400. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day.